I'm finishing up my trip to Japan. I don't have much time left. I was asked a few questions. Typical shit that's already on YouTube. The Japanese like black people. Some do, some don't. Easiest answer I can give you. Some do, some don't. Most don't care. A foreigner is a foreigner. That's what I got from most people. Of course, being black, your hair, people are fascinated with, skin, shit like that. But as far as do they like you or not, depends on who it is. Some of the stuff that I've seen, like the hood shit, Japanese people trying to be black and or trying to emulate American culture, shit like that. It's not really a thing. Of course, there are people that do that, but it's not really a thing. Um, can you travel around here without knowing the language? Yes, you can, but the experience won't be so great. That's all I could tell you. Take the time to learn the language. Be as fluent as you can. You don't have to be perfect, but if you really want to get to know people, of course you have to be able to speak to them in their native language. There are a few that can speak English, but only a few. Most people speak bits and pieces of broken English, just hi, hello, greetings. You really don't want to come over here not being able to talk to people at all. You can, and you'll still probably have a good time, but you'll have a much better time if you take your time to learn the language. I would say give yourself at least a year. Actually, no, at least 6 to 9 months. That's if you really want to go, but I would say at least a year. 2 years isn't a bad idea either, but take your time, learn the language, and make your trip. Yeah. There's not too much else I have to say about being here. It's a nice experience. I would suggest staying at Airbnbs and being around the local people if you speak the language, rather than go to a hotel and have the tourist experience that way. Both ways you're going to have a tourist experience, but the hotel thing is too easy. If you plan on staying in a hotel, you really don't have to learn the language. You can get around just fine. You'll eat just fine. You'll do everything just fine. That's if you're staying around the hotel, like nice hotels and tourist areas and shit like that. This was the last part of my trip. I stayed in a hotel, and in comparison, and to staying in Airbnbs and being around most of the local people, there's no comparison. It's just you'll have a richer experience if you immerse yourself into the culture. But as far as being black here, I know there's a lot of shit on YouTube about Japanese Crips and Bloods or Japanese people trying to emulate Mexican culture and shit like that. I've met no one like that. And I've traveled around. I've seen a few people with hip hop clothing, things like that, but that's normal shit. That's nothing special. You'll see that anywhere you go, pretty much, unless it's really that poor. But other than that, it's just, it's just whatever. shit that you see on YouTube of black people being imitated, that's really a small group of people. You will not see a whole community of people like that. You'll meet just very few. A lot of people do like hip hop music, but as far as imitating the culture, things like that, it's just not a thing. One good example of that is the Japanese rapper that went to Cleveland to see Busy Bone. I mean, if he really understood the culture and everything, he would have never did that shit that way. There's no fucking way. Because here, it's like, if I lose my wallet, I'll get it back with all my money and everything intact. It's like, that shit's not happening in Cleveland. Shit's not happening in New York. It's not happening in the US, period. Like, it's so rare to lose your wallet and get it back, let alone the money be in it. Like, here, all your shit be in it most likely, unless a tourist takes it most of the time. I mean, there are a few homeless Japanese around here that'll probably do that, but it's like someone would have to be in an extreme situation, and even then, you're still most likely to get it back. You know, it's just very different from the US. I would say if you're gonna come out here, don't compare it. Don't look to try to compare it. The shit that you see on the net, just don't believe the hype at all. Come out here, experience it for yourself. There are plenty of people that have made videos saying that. I completely agree with that. But yeah, to answer one question that I get a lot, can you come out here without speaking the language? Yes. Will you have a good time? Probably. But it's just much better if you do. All right. That's the end of this.